I'm Jessica Blackwell from Equestricare, and today Louie and I are just going to show you how to locate the bony landmarks on a live horse. So Louie is straight off the track, so he is perhaps less well covered than some other horses, so he should be easier to see. The bony landmarks are really important for getting an underlying idea, to get an idea of where the underlying structures are of your horse. So whether it's to assess their conformation or to look at their symmetry or have an idea of where their bones are, it's really important for any study in conformation and evaluation, as well as your body work. So starting at the face, we have the orbit, which is the eye. This one should be nice and obvious. Then we have the facial crest. So the facial crest stands out on a lot of horses. The zygomatic arch is this bone just here on the skull. So it is also quite significant. The ramus of mandible is the edge of your jawbone. So you can feel this here on your horse. And down here, we have the naso-incisive notch. So this is the bony part of your nostril. At the top, right between the ears, is the uppermost part of the skull. And that is your occiput. Now people struggle a little bit with the neck. So we have 7 neck vertebrae. We have the atlas, the axis, and then 5 more vertebrae, with 7 being under the scapula here. So the first one is the atlas. And this edge of this bone here is the wing of the atlas. So you can feel this quite clearly on your horse. The next important one is the 5th cervical vertebrae. And this is just important to get an idea of where the spine sits in the horse. So the spine sits down here. If that is 1 and 7 is here, then 5 is here. But 5 is also the biggest. So if you're feeling down the neck, you should be able to feel 5. Here, at the point of our shoulder, is the deltoid tuberosity. So this bone here is quite prominent. The sternum is this bone right here. So horses don't have a collarbone like us. The sternum attaches to the ribs by cartilage. To go into the back of your elbow, this is the olecranon. Olecranon here. We have our scapula here. At the top, we have our scapular cartilage. And then to find the spine of scapula, you look for the front of the scapula and the back. And as you run, you will hit a bony ridge. That is the spine of your scapula. Moving down the leg, we have the accessory carpal bone at the back of the knee, and the proximal sesamoids, which I'll show you on the back leg because your front leg is cut off. When looking at the spine is obvious. What we want to find is the shelf of the ribs and the last rib. To find the last rib, run your hand along and you'll feel it fall off the edge of the ribs. If your horse is a little bit more rotund, it can be easier to go from back here and feel forward until you hit this first bony prominence. curves up here to the last thoracic vertebrae. To find the shelf, put your hands on the ribs and run up until they fall over a little ridge, and that is the shelf of the ribs. Then moving back to the hindquarters, the uppermost point of the croup is your tuber sacrale. Coming down from that is the wing of your pelvis. This is the tuber cocci. You can feel it by running your hands up the pelvis and falling on the end. And it is this kidney shape here. Now, one that people struggle with is the ischiatic tuberosity. That is your point of butt. So if you come down the horse's hindquarter, you will feel the horse's butt bone. This is your ischiatic tuberosity. Now, 2 bumps away from that is your hip joint, your greater trochanter of femur. This one in a well-muscled horse can be hard to find. If you find your ischiatic tuberosity, you know it's level with that. It is also where your femur is, and your femur goes to your stifle. So we know it's going to be along here, and it is the bony bit. The third trochanter is just a little bit further down. Your patella, you really can't feel the patella that well, but you'll feel the edge of your stifle. Don't do that. Then we've got the tibial crest. At the top of the tibia, you will feel this bony ridge. The calcaneus is the back of your hop, and then your proximal sesamoids are these 2 bones here at the back of your fetlock. And those are the most important bony landmarks to feel on your horse.